Good morning and warm welcome to you all, mainly on this session on Operational Excellence 4.0 under the theme Organizational Readiness and Operational Excellence. My name is Sanjeev Kulkarni. I am from ABB India Limited. I'm heading the engineering for a division called Energy Industries, which is responsible for delivering automation, electrical and digital solutions for oil and gas, chemical, pharmaceutical, power and water segments. Today we have a very interesting session, and before we really get into session, I would like to extend warm welcome to all our presenters today. We have 5 presenters today, and just to beginning with that, just I wanted to have a brief intro about the presenters. Then followed by, I think we will start the session. We have with us Mr. Kushal Banerjee, Chief General Manager, Business Development, Corporate Strategy, HPCL. Mr. Kushal comes with more than 30 years of experience in oil and gas sector, handled different portfolios of retail, channel management, consumer sales, and technical service and startup. Welcome, Mr. Kushal. Then we have Mr. Mikhail Buma. He is a seasoned executive with over 15 years of experience, spanning in energy and technology industries. He's working as Director, White Space Solutions. Welcome, Mr. Mikhail. Then we have Richard Peter, Head of Customer Excellence Capability, British Petroleum. He comes with a rich experience of more than a decade, mainly in customer excellence and capability for the global customer functions. Welcome, Richard. Then we have Vinay Gupta, Assistant General Manager, Engineers India Limited. So Vinay comes with more than 20 years of experience, and he's a chartered chemical engineer, mainly with experience in refining and petrochemical industries. Welcome, Vinay. Then we have Mr. Amrish Agarwal, AGM Indraprastha Gas. He comes with more than 20 years of experience, mainly into operations and maintenance. Welcome, Mr. Amrish. Okay. So before we really begin the presentation, I thought it's better to set the context on this particular topic, because since we all know that operational excellence and it's also added with 4.0. So that's a mix of operational excellence and digitalization. So that is why I thought it's better we set the context. Then anyway, we'll see that why this operational excellence 4.0 has been named as for this particular this one. As we all know that from many decades, organizations are embracing operational excellence, mainly to achieve the performance excellence, be it on productivity, be it on quality, be it our service, mainly to improve the customer experience. And when we say operational excellence, mainly it covers entire value chain of manufacturing process, be it design, development, or production, maintenance, or resource planning and control, or supply chain management. And it's a continuous journey. Operational excellence is always a continuous journey, because the organization keep investing, taking new projects, and coming out with new ideas. Over the years, the main goal of operational excellence remains the same, but the levers which are mainly helping customers to achieve the operational excellence, they are changing due to advancement in technologies. Especially the emerging digital technologies are bringing new levers when a customer or when an organization really wanted to implement operational excellence. Especially the technologies which are coming from Industry 4.0, like AI, ML, RPA, advanced analytics. These are bringing a lot of improvement to the improvement or operational excellence projects which an organization is taking and supporting customers to achieve more benefits. And that is what we wanted to see today, how the different, through the different presentation, how the organization adapting. One common thing or one common factor about all these different technologies is basically transforming the raw data which is coming from operations as well as assets into actionable information, so that the people, asset, and the process take the informed decision which is driven by the data as well as the right actions. That is how it is basically driven. So these are certain topics what we are going to see today through the presentations. A very nice presentation, 5 different topics which is going to cover different aspect of the complete process value chain. So with this, I would like to request Mr. Kushal Banerjee to start his presentation.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you, Mr. Kulkarni, for giving a brief about today's session just now. That's the Operation Excellence, what we are talking about. I come from oil and gas and sector from Hindustan Petroleum Corporation Limited. So I'll be basically talking about a very, very important and very crucial area of our business function, that is the tankages at the refineries, what we have for supplying to the customers through our various fuel terminals and depots and supply locations. You all must be aware that these refineries, I will just give the context of the presentation before I go into the actual presentation. The tankages in the refineries are the most important assets for any oil companies, you can say that. And the maintenance of the integrity of these assets, maintenance of this tankages ranging from 20,000 kl to 40,000 kl, and storing various products, white oils, black oils, bitumens, crude. Maintaining these assets are very, very important. As per EPA 653 guidelines, right from the day of installation till the time you do the next inspection, that is minimum 10 years is been given a gap of 10 years, unless there is some pitting corrosion or something is happening there, or leakages. Traditional method, what happens is it's a manual base with what we have been doing for cleaning the tankages, putting it off, switching the usage of these tankages, and almost minimum 5 to 6 months were being spent right from cleaning, manually doing it, recording the data manually, deducting the actual problems in the tankages, and then taking action, ordering for the equipment, replacement. So many things used to happen when we were working on manually. Almost 6 months, 7 months used to go, and used to lose heavily because these tankages were blocked, and our supply locations, my final customers used to suffer. So we were looking for some sort of solution to this. It is a very, very important challenge for us. So I just want to now add that we are supporting the startups in a very big way. Signals, the transducer, which was sending as well as receiving the signals, the reflected signals. It is basically a totally non-destructive testing method. Ultra high frequency, we are right up to 0.1 hertz to 25 hertz, millihertz. We are sending it. Ultrasonic transducers were there, emitting and receiving waves. Very, very simple way of doing it. And then we had those thrusters, the robots were getting into the tankages through right from the top. We used to immerse those thrusters, and then we used to analyze the echoes. Basis that, we used to data the flaws, the thickness, the metal reduction, all those things were getting analyzed. Advantage, the very, very sensitive, accurate, defect-free data we are getting, and huge, almost 70 to 80% coverage of the tank bottom was there. Huge coverage of the tank areas was happening because of that. So when we did the UT scan of the tankage of our tank number 557, this primarily a MS tank, when we did that, 36 UT scanning was done for that area. Almost more than 45% area was covered by this robo. And thickness scanning was done. Runs of approximately 6 to 10 meter was taken in the tank bottom. All 36 UTs what we did, 40 to 45% tank bottom was covered in this, covering an area of 75 square meters. The thickness of the tank bottom plate was 6 mm, and minimum measured bottom plate thickness was coming to 4.2 mm. So we calculate the corrosion rate, what was happening by this formulation. So since it got reduced from 6 to 4.2 mm, over a period of almost 17 years, in fact, this tank bottom, this has got reduced. So we calculated the corrosion rate. This is basically done in mils per year. Mils per is the actual unit when you measure the corrosion of any metallic surface. So through that we came to know this the mils per year corrosion rate of this particular tankage was 4.15 MPY for this particular tankage. I just give an example. So what we got again 6 months and comparatively the 8 days, 1,000 times more data was captured when we use this technique, robotic non-destructive techniques. 10 times faster inspection was done, whereas 6 months, I don't know, and this is only just 7, 8 days what we finished it. 50% is operational cost was there in this. Huge safety parameter, no HS implication, no possibility of any health damage to our workmen who are working there. And environmental impact is very, very important. We follow the ESG guidelines, ESG norms. It's absolutely not there in that. And 5 times more cost effective. I have already talked about the cost earlier. Savings in inspection storage tanks, you could see I was talking about the savings earlier also. The total savings per tank is almost 9 lakhs when we did through this method. So various cost, I have tried to give the cost breakdown here. What are the areas where we are spending this cost while we are doing the manual inspection, and the other areas in case of NDT, what was the costing which is happening. So there's a big gap and big difference in the estimated cost by doing manual as well as online robotic inspections. So in the HP Mumbai refinery, if you see the implementation cost, if you talk about the MS, it was nothing, it was just 28 lakhs. And if you talk about the TK104 kerosene tankages, having a dia of 42 and the height of 14.5 meter height, you see the cost is only 45. So total cost incurred, what we did in that operation, in that project was 74 lakhs. So it was a huge savings for us when we did this. Substantially lesser cost, no HSE, no conversion, huge data accuracy, and the faster method of doing it. So no productivity was lost. We could continue to use those two tankages while inspections were on. And now the thing is, if you see manual inspection, if you actually come to the comparison versus robotic inspection, the time taken, I was talking about 6 months in case of manual. Here, shutdown, absolutely nothing is there. If you tank body inspection, it takes place in 6 days against 2 months. So it has a huge changes what we noticed there in that solution. And 150 crore per tank. I mean, the savings, if you see, is a mind-boggling. I mean, it's a huge gain for us when we went for this. So if you can categorize, it's primarily the benefit was in primarily 4 years. If you talk about the operation excellence, zero downtime, new human interference, no environmental impact, and huge cost economics. But I talked about this already. Time is up. Coverage, in fact, basis that we are rolling out to all our terminals now, to retail outlets where the tank inspection is going to happen, and all to our B2B customers whom we have provided these tankages. You'll be giving this benefit to them. Major challenges was the sludge height, 300 mm, that was getting a problem, so we use thrusters to get into that. So it was a challenge which we could avoid those challenges. Way ahead, that's actually be rolling out in other refineries, at terminals, depots for tank inspection, including our pipelines. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee, for a very interesting session on the NDT technology. Yeah. This approach is particularly applicable in oil and gas industries where accuracy, precision, and safety are of paramount importance. Yeah. Now I'd request Mr. Mikkel to take the next presentation, please.
And we provide AI-assisted software for planning purposes. Now, it's day 3 of the conference. It's just before lunchtime, so I want to make sure I give you something energetic today. Hold on, I'm getting a phone call. Hello? Yes, this is James from Helicopter Planning. Okay, so you want 3 helicopters with maintenance crew tomorrow instead of today, and next week you want to move all flights from Wednesday to Thursday. Yes, are you aware that Fred from the other offshore platform actually said the exact opposite? Okay, you don't care, priorities changed, and you think Fred is a bag of sand. All right, thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, this kind of scenario takes place in our industry almost on a daily basis. Changing priorities. And that is not necessarily a problem. priorities change all the time, but when they change so frequently, it also has big consequences in terms of planning, right? Because changing priorities means changing planning. And that has financial consequences for your organizations as well. And they're big. So up to 30% of productive hours of your staff in the field gets lost as a result of inadequate planning. And not only that, up to 20% of project value is eroded due to late schedule changes and elements like that. So clearly, that is something you'd like to avoid, right? Because this all negatively impacts your bottom profit and loss. And this is something I'd like to go into a little bit more detail for in James in this helicopter planning example. So what really makes planning so difficult? And that boils down to the number of variables. So if you think about James from the beginning of my talk, right? So he's got the number of platforms he needs to deal with. He's got a number of helicopters. He's got a pool of staff, maybe 70, 80, 90 people. And he's got a bunch of tasks that he needs to complete offshore. Finally, he will also have some routing constraints because not each helicopter can land on each platform, for example. All of this combined means you will have an exponential growth in the number of possible planning routes for your helicopters in order to get your jobs done. So let's make this even more tangible. How big, how many possibilities are there actually? So let's say James is responsible for 20 platforms. He's got 2 helicopters. He's got a crew of about 70 people, each with different skill sets that he needs to manage and get to these platforms. He's got 45 jobs he needs to get done. And he's got 15 constraints, right? Because the helicopter needs to get refueled. They can't land on every platform. So that combined is over 100 million possibilities, right? It is an absolutely vast amount. And normally this needs to be managed by a human being, right? It's a human planner. So you can imagine the incredible complexity. And if I were to draw an analog, I think this feels like playing chess on this incredibly large board with hundreds of different pieces, right? It's a game that's almost impossible to optimize. And this is where AI-assisted planning comes in. So there's 3 things that differentiate AI-assisted planning from how you would traditionally work. First, it is about changing from subjective opinions to objective data, right? So if you think about the platform manager from the beginning of my talk, you will often have, maybe it's not him, but it will be the loudest voice in the room that may get his or her way. Whereas what you would actually like is transparency on which option actually gives me the most value or the lowest cost, depending on what your priority may be. The second is your planner, just due to the capability of the human mind, may only consider a few options. There will always be time constraints, so there's only a few things he or she can look at. What AI-assisted planning allows you to do is consider millions of options in an extremely short amount of time and give you the best one for whatever you are trying to achieve. And finally, it's about switching from unclear trade-offs and consequences of your choices to full clarity on business impact. So what are the costs? What are the benefits that you will receive? So I want to give you a practical example of one of our customers, Shell, that we are working with on helicopter planning. So again, about objective data, generating alternatives, and getting clarity on impact. So what you see on the screen here, I needed to blur out the confidential content, but is a manual plan that Shell comes up with for their helicopters. It's Excel driven, so very simple essentially. And we fed that plan into our planning engine. So exactly the same plan, just to see what the outcome would be and to compare how does that measure up against a different AI-assisted version. So they're able to complete 77% of their jobs, which is a metric for value, if you like, right? The more jobs you complete, the faster your wells come back online, for example. And it's against a 42% helicopter utilization. So now we run exactly the same job log, even a little bit more jobs, with AI assistance. So manual at the top, AI assistance at the bottom. You now have 90% of jobs completed against only a very minor increase in helicopter utilization, right? So you get a huge increase in performance against a very minor increase in heli utilization if you take that as a proxy for cost, for example, right? Because you get a little bit of additional fuel. So that is a really big difference. And we wanted to explore, well, why is that the case? Why is this difference there? So we dug into the human planning case. And what our software allows us to do is see where are there over or underutilized parts of the route. So and you can color code those. So we zoomed into one of these, and it turns out they left open 7 seats on their helicopter, and they could have taken 7 people from one platform to the next to execute a few critical jobs. And it's an opportunity they simply overlooked due to time schedules. Due to pressing time, the planner had to move fast, so he wasn't able to see that choice. So, it just illustrates how difficult it is to do this kind of work and the value of doing this with AI assistance, right? So it's about increasing the speed of planning, allowing you to make higher value decisions. That leads to a 10 to 20% increase in your resource utilization. If that's equipment, if you're talking about maintenance, but it's also about people making sure they're actively working and not sitting idle because they cannot be flown from one platform to the next. There's also around a 30% increase in execution efficiency. That's something we learned from one of our customers. So I gave you an example of helicopter planning, but the same kind of problem applies in maintenance for refineries, for your upstream assets. So this example is from Beauregard. They're a Norwegian company. But these planning challenges are everywhere, and I just want to reiterate the sheer possibility of how and where you can optimize planning. This can be around decommissioning. How do you sequence decommissioning in the way that you optimize value? You don't decommission too early, you don't decommission too late. It can be for maintenance and turnarounds. Field development planning is a huge opportunity, uncovering how you can most cheaply get to your subsurface targets by exploring millions of well alternatives. Vessel planning, rig sequence planning. The options are really big, and I wanted to make that even more explicit by showing you a newspaper article from one of our customers, Equinor. So they've run our software solution in doing well design and getting, how do you drill a well economically? How do you make sure you don't miss out on an opportunity so that you can drill a sidetrack, for example, instead of drilling a new well? They saved, as a direct result of using our solution, 90 million in project capex, right? So think about that number. That is extremely significant. And that is only by uncovering opportunities people hadn't explored before, which is where the power of AI assistance comes in. And they were able to do that in weeks instead of a process that normally takes them 9 or 10 months. So ultimately, and that's what I want to end with, this is a game of combining activities with the resources that you have. And the value is in being able to explore all of those possibilities, and picking the right one makes the difference between being very profitable or potentially getting into a downward spiral. AI-assisted planning provides a means to make sure you achieve that green line instead of the orange one. So I'd like to end with that and invite you to think about your planning challenges, and I would love to speak with you after my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Michael, for a good presentation on planning. Even though your presentation more covers on the maintenance side, but for any process industries, planning and scheduling is something which is very important considering the operational effectiveness. And most of the industry are spending a lot of effort on making the planning and scheduling more faster, cleaner, and accurate. Even though it is quite easy to tell, but knowing the ground reality, because complex production environment or the changing demand plan or the limited availability of the resource and material sometimes when it comes to production, or even in this case, your case, the availability of the resources and things, make the the life of a planner very difficult. So definitely AI-based tools are going to help it, and very good presentation. Thank you. Now I would request Richard Peter to present us on the transforming British Petroleum customer experience through operational excellence, digital and state-of-the-art customer platforms.
Very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for being here. It's absolutely an honor and a privilege to be presenting to such an esteemed forum. My dear colleagues from the industry, my dear colleagues from my company, and all of you who are here with some interest. My name is Richard, and I spent the last 20 plus years in different industries, all focused on customer excellence. Starting from the heart of customer excellence, working with the airlines, to moving to telecom, where customer experience was so quintessential to differentiating the product that was there, because everyone was offering the same product, to now energy and utilities, where we are trying to discover where the customer fits in the whole scheme of things. With that, let me share an interesting stat. In a recent research, Forbes discovered that 86% of customers are willing to pay for a better experience. Now, that's not just a number, that is a message and an alert. If you don't take care of your customers, your competition will. If that wasn't fascinating enough, let me give you another statistic. 96% of customers will leave you for bad customer service. 96%. That's almost the entire business. We might as well just shut shop and go away if we have bad customer service. Therefore, now we at BP understand something that is really fundamental about customer experience. It's not just a part of the business, it is the business. At BP, we believe that every business transaction turns into an experience that resonates. And we need to do that. For us, it is equally important to, let's say, efficiently fuel over 6,000 flights in 50 different countries without any delay, as it is to ensure that our customers who stop at our fuel stations to both refuel and maybe grab a coffee have a great experience that they expect from us. It's about making our customers feel valued and heard and figure out what they're going to want from us even before they do. We heard about AI, we heard about ML, we heard about planning in the previous session. How can we preempt and predict what customers want from us already? Let's appreciate a few parts of the business that makes operations complex in terms of geographies, in terms of languages, in terms of the types of businesses themselves. Yeah? Every single day, we have 12 million customer touch points across 21,000 sites around the world. Our operation in 60 different countries has to operate in languages that are required by these specific audiences. 150 plus systems that we use, 4 million customer transactions with customers needing help, support, information from us. What that does, it creates a certain level of complexity in itself for the customer service engine. Yeah. Multi-channel interactions. Customers want to interact with us in their own way, at their own pace, in their own place. How do we channel that? And when I say customers, I'm talking about a variety of customers. So let's see our customer landscape. There should be an audio in this.
Today, our customers have multiple transactional relationships with BP, but this needs to change. We need to make our customers' lives simpler. We need to break down our internal silos so we show up together. And we must unlock the power of sharing our insights and data so we better understand the needs of our different customer groups. But who are our customers? What do we know about them now and what they'll expect from us in the future? There are consumers like you and me. individuals that buy and use our products. Today we offer a fairly simple energy mix, but as we look to the future, when families might own an electric car and a traditional ICE vehicle, or perhaps lease through a fleet, we need to be able to offer broader, integrated mobility solutions that provide better value. From refueling the car to refueling the family with snacks, drinks, or even dinner, building on our convenience partnerships globally is key to making our customers' lives easier. We have fleets and B2B customers. Fleet customers' needs are becoming more varied. Electric vehicles, trucks that run on hydrogen, autonomous vehicles. We need to support them seamlessly and increasingly across their total operation. And our B2B customers have changing needs too. That could be Castrol workshops looking to digitize, or airlines looking for carbon reduction, or major industrial customers looking for ever greater plant efficiency. And finally, there are partners. This category is broad. It includes our dealer or retail partners, our distributors, but also new strategic partners. It's the people we sell through as well as sell to. These could include companies like Amazon or Uber that are doing things differently and disrupting the market, where the depth of our relationship goes beyond them simply being a customer. We will also partner with regions and cities, looking at different ways we can use energy sources to change the world together. Getting our relationship with our customers right and truly putting them at the heart of what we do is what will make our business successful for the future and allow us to reach our net zero ambition. To achieve this, we must change our mindset. No matter what your job role is, everyone at BP is working for the customer or working for someone that works for the customer.
So you see, our customers are not only different, but their challenges are different as well. And we've got to address these challenges different. But looking at it from another perspective, these challenges are real opportunities in disguise. Opportunities to innovate, to redefine how we engage with our customers. At BP, we're not just solving today's problems, but we're trying to be a step ahead of our customers. And we're designing what they would want of us for tomorrow. As an example, today, most of us and our customers are able to do everything from the palm of their hands. Your mobile is your bank. Your mobile is your shopping cart. Your mobile helps you do a variety of things. How can we make our products and services accessible to the customers in the way that they have grown to become comfortable with? So we're investing in apps and portals for our customers that allow them to do anything from claim their reward points, pay for our services, place orders, access customer service, download information that they need, and troubleshoot on stuff that they want to. So this is a classic example and is at the core of what we are doing right now, which is helping our customers self-serve, basically just putting power back into the hands of the customer. Our commitment is to innovate and improve relentlessly, ensuring that our customer experiences today pave the way for a more connected and a more intuitive BP of tomorrow. Now, I'm a person who's spent a lot of my time in music. Yeah, I love music. I play music, I listen to music. There's something about music that sort of soothes the soul. And I'm sure a lot of you will relate with that. So let me use that analogy to paint this picture for you. Imagine a symphony where every note represents a strategic move towards excellence. In this, we at BP, doing excellence, are the maestros. Yeah? We are orchestrating a blend of data strategy, technology that empowers, and continuous transformation. We're fine-tuning the core of our operations to strategically leverage data and maximize customer delight. Let me tell you an example. Our analytics teams looked at customer behavior in one of our retail stores. What time of the day do customers respond to marketing, texts, and emails best? What are the products that they like to purchase? How frequently do they fuel? What do they buy when they are at our retail stores? That data has empowered us to reach the customer where and when they want to be reached. It helps us place products in a way that customers are able to access the products, but it also helps us give them complementary products along with that. For example, a customer who always purchases coffee also purchases cigarettes. Right? Can you place them where they're accessible to the customer? This not only improves revenue for the company, but it leaves the customer feeling valued. This company knows about me. They know what I want. And so here, I'm truly the king. It's not just lip service. With that example, our customers lie at the heart of this melody that I painted a little while ago. Yeah. And we are fostering a digital workforce to empower them with cutting edge technology. I alluded to how we are creating apps and portals. In addition to that, we are building chatbots, email bots, and voice bots where our customers are able to self serve. They no longer need to wait in queues to speak to someone. They no longer need to hold the phone. They could be sitting in a meeting. For all you know, our business customers are busy. Their time is valuable. They could be sitting in a meeting and chatting with our chatbot, letting our chatbot take ownership of their issues. And you'd be surprised at how successful we've been at this. In certain markets, over 75% of customer queries are managed by chatbots. This shows that the customers are not only taking to this new technology, the technology is thriving in doing what the customer wants, how the customer wants, and where the customer wants it. As an organization with a large tool stack, we've come to work on multiple different tools. We as a company are embarking on an ERP transformation strategy. Over the next few years, our company is going to bring all of the ERPs to consolidate it into one. Now, that is going to mean standardization across the piece for our customers. And in preparation for that, we are looking at our order to cash process, which is the end to end of the customer life cycle, and transforming that to have structured processes, shorter life cycle times, and better delivery for our customer with reduced number of errors. An example, when you build on a shaky foundation, the building is going to be shaky as well. So we embarked on a journey of setting the fundamentals or the foundational elements right, and we called it Brilliant Basics. Now, Brilliant Basics looks at all of the fundamentals that you have of operational excellence and customer service within the organization to see, is it where we want it to be? More importantly, is it where our customers want it to be? What do our customers expect from us? So while looking at the Brilliant Basics, couple of examples. We found that a certain category of customers had a very, very complex operating system. How can we quickly solve for this? We took the complexity behind the scenes and gave the customer a single point of contact. We created a partner support desk where the customer will only have to speak with one person. The complexity behind the scenes is invisible to the customer. This person takes it away, works with the system, and simplifies it to that extent. And our customers, they'll love it. Customer onboarding. That's a journey where we bring customers on. In our cards, we sell our fleet cards. In our fleet card onboarding, the time that we were taking to onboard our customers was pretty long, based on any standard for that matter. When we looked at that process and simplified it, it helped improve customer signups by 20%. We're now using customer satisfaction surveys in order to be able to measure what the customer wants to tell us and then take action on that. So, we are delivering elevated customer experiences, and some of the metrics over here, I talked to you about 75% customer containment rate. Our invoices in our order to cash process are 99.5% accurate month on month, and this is over 100,000 of invoices. We've corrected our system issues to reduce them by 20%. Our customer onboarding is down from 30 days to 4 days. We're now turning around customer disputes in under 2 days, and the failure demand has gone down by 20%. allowing customers, to basically reach out to us for value adding solutions. So, in closing, transforming customer experience is not just about technology and processes, it's about people and it's about relationships. At BP, we are committed to putting the customer at the heart of everything that we do, and every interaction only builds trust and loyalty. And I'd like to finish with a quote from Bill Kiseng, one of the customer experience gurus. He said, "To earn customer loyalty, don't get inside their heads, get inside their hearts."
Very nice presentation. Thank you very much. Our next presenter is Mr. Vinay Gupta uh, on the topic reconfiguration of petrochemical complex with on-purpose unit integration.
At IEW, we are quite privileged and we are quite lucky. It's a good platform where we learn from each other and grow together. Uh, just to start with, I think I'll take it from Mr. Richard's speech. Uh, I'll take it from Mr. Richard's speech. I think we are going through a transformation into AI, digitalization. Our demographics are changing. And definitely this change comes along with polymers and plastics. So you cannot have a change or a transformation into, when the demographics are changing into digitalization, definitely the plastics and petrochemicals are going to play a vital role in the future. Without just going further ado, I think let's start with our presentation. So in this session, we're going to talk about the petrochemical integration with the Indian refineries. We're going to talk about the on-purpose technologies and what are the opportunities are there for these on-purpose technologies for integration. Just to bring to this subject, what we're talking about on-purpose technologies are the technologies which are specifically on purpose for one single petrochemical. We are talking about a propane dehydrogenation unit. Essentially, it's a conversion of propane to propylene, and then we go into further derivatives. We are witnessing a demographic change and a transition. Even we've been talking about energy transition happening in India. The demographics are changing. And with this change, the government has announced and is also pushing a lot of schemes so that a lot of, you know, urbanizing, a lot of schemes like, Atmanirbharta policy interventions have been there. The government is even yesterday and day before yesterday, our minister said about boosting the plastic parks and PCPI revivals of the PCPIs. So basically, India is looking towards becoming a chemical hub, which I think is been seen in most of the Southeast Asia and in the Asia regions. Now moving to the opportunity of petrochemicals. As I initially said, with the growing change in the demographics, the petrochemicals demand in India is going to go exponentially well. At present we are seeing an more than 8% demand of basic petrochemicals like ethylene and propylene in the country, and with announcement of refining capacity of more than 300 million tons by 2030, definitely we're going to see a lot of crude oil conversion into petrochemicals. We are targeting the growth of petrochemicals is around 35 to 40% increase of percentage of the crude which is going to be processed in the country. So definitely there is going to be a drive for maximum refinery and petrochemical integration. At present, few of the refineries are well integrated into petrochemicals, and slowly we are seeing other refineries as well moving towards higher petrochemical and higher complexity. This is a very typical integrated refinery configuration. I just pulled out this slide just to bring knowledge to everybody that this is a very good integrated model of a petrochemical and a refinery, where you have a cracker and aromatic complex integrated into a refinery. Aromatic complex is generally into a paraxylene and a PTA complex, and a cracker the main focus is to go for ethylene and propylene and other petrochemicals as well. When we design a refinery, when we go for a grassroots refinery or a new refinery, the major production targets in a refinery is to maximize ethylene production, maximize propylene production, increase the gasoline production, because we are seeing growth in these three sectors, minimize the diesel production, and minimize the kerosene and fuel oil. So these are the broad targets what we see in a refinery when we are going for a new grassroots refinery configuration. Now, refinery as a standpoint is a major feed, creates a major feed for the petrochemical complexes. And what are the typical feeds nowadays? We are looking at a refinery, which are the best suited for the petrochemical complex are C4 LPG, C3 LPG, light naphtha, heavy naphtha, and kerosene. So these are the major preferred feedstocks for a petrochemical. And the major petrochemicals what we are targeting in a refinery are ethylene, propylene, butadiene, and BTX. Except ethylene, when you go for a ethylene cracker, ethylene is a major product, but yes, we also get propylene, butadiene, and BTX as the side products, because once we're going for a liquid cracking in a cracker, these products are invariably we have to, are produced in the cracker unit. Now coming back to LPG, how's the LPG trend in India? If you go through the internet, if you read various articles, you'll see that India has been importing LPG around 8 million tons, and we have been increasing our infrastructure towards LPG import and the pipelines as well. Lately, if you see, the India's import of LPG has actually plateaued. And it's because of the major use of the LPG. The major use of LPG in India is for domestic use. Is more than 90% of the LPG in India is used in domestic. When you compare it to our neighboring nation, you will see that more than 50 to 60% of LPG is actually used for petrochemicals. So there the difference comes within our country and the neighboring nation. So I think the neighboring nation, what I'm talking about, you already know. And and you'll see that most of these nations are actually are having a lot of PDH plants and a lot of on-purpose technologies, on-purpose plants for petrochemicals. So as we are in India, we are replacing LPG with gas, and with the push of 15% target of gas in the country, the major displacement is going to be into the LPG. And we are having a lot of infrastructure of LPG, so we need to now think where to put this LPG to good use. So that's going to be primarily into petrochemicals. So today we are standing at the point where most of the LPG is being used into domestic. I think next 5 to 10 years down, we'll be discussing on how to utilize LPG into petrochemicals. So here comes the basic case for how to utilize this molecule efficiently into petrochemicals and make money. But it's a very, very good feed for the petrochemicals. This is a standalone PDH complex. I would like to announce that we are already having two, PDH plants announced in India. These are the first two plants, and EIL is part of that. And a PDH plant is quite simple plant. As you can see from the complex level, it's just the propane import. You do a conversion and you convert into a downstream petrochemical, which is a propylene and a polypropylene. The byproduct, there's a byproduct. Propane dehydrogenation is actually a unit where hydrogen has been released from the propane molecule. So you have a good amount of hydrogen which has been generated into this plant. Essentially, if you go for a standalone plant, you have two options: either you sell hydrogen or you put it into your fuel system. Putting into the fuel system definitely gives you a good carbon credit, because you are firing your furnaces with more than 100% hydrogen. So you are able to get a good credit, but that's not the economic point. As an industry, you are looking at a carbon credit, but you also need to know is hydrogen is quite a expensive fuel. So this is one case which has already been already been implemented in India, but there is a next step to it also. The next step is how to integrate this plant into a refinery complex. So there are a lot of integration opportunities. What we have seen in two areas. One is with a steam cracker. If you have a steam cracker, there are many steam crackers available in India which are also standalone, which are importing feeds from outside and producing petrochemicals, ethylene. So for that case, PDH integrated into a steam cracker makes a very good sense, because you can also import propane along with the ethane or the naphtha, which is already running in the steam cracker. You can integrate your the reactor effluent with the steam cracker cold section. It gives you a lot of benefits. So what you are doing is you are increasing your selectivity towards propylene production through PDH and increasing your selectivity towards ethylene production through cracker. So effectively, it's an operational excellence what you're getting, because you are operating your unit at a quite optimized way. And there are many tools which you can use to manage this thing, manage this kind of a complex. It definitely increases the complexity of the plant, but yes, it is been managed and it has been done. So this is not a new case. This is also already been practiced in many, in other by many clients outside India. But yes, it needs to come to India as well. Another opportunity is we have looked at how PDH fits into a refinery. Yes, PDH very well fits into a refinery, because most of the refineries in India, you will find because of gasoline maximization, you have a lot of FCCs. Most of the refineries are in FCCs, and we are producing propylene through FCCs. And once you go on a high severity in an FCC, we tend to make a lot of aromatics. But once you have a PDH integrated into a refinery, you have an opportunity to lower the severity on FCC, lower on the aromatics in the gasoline section, and you will be able to blend that gasoline very well into your gasoline pool. And preferentially, you make propylene through a PDH unit. So the PDH unit in this case can also be integrated with an FCC unit, can also be integrated with a steam cracker unit. You get a tremendous energy optimization case in this. You have a lower hydrogen generation unit in the refinery. So I can say something around a 500 KTA PDH unit can very well support around 2.5 to 3 million naphtha hydro treatment. So what you're doing is you are having a PDH unit, but you are lowering your hydrogen consumption in the refinery. So in a way, if you look at it, we are optimizing the hydrogen requirement in the refinery as well. And the most important is that you get a cold steam integration within the FCC steam cracker and PDH, because you can have a common separation system for propylene separation in all these three units. So that gives an opportunity of economies of scale. Just to summarize, India has an excellent infrastructure for propane and LPG imports. We have an excellent opportunity for an all on-purpose technologies on standalone basis, and for a PDH unit, it's already been established, and customers are actually going in for PDH units. But now the next step is how to take this technology and optimize our refinery and petrochemical complexes, so that we are improving the selectivity of our petrochemical produce, and also go for energy saving at a complex level. So we at EIL are very much geared to carry out these studies, and we have a strong track record. We have been working on the first PDH plant in India, and also the second PDH plant in India. So we have gained a lot of information. We have got a lot of insights, and we have already discussed many things with the licensors. So we find that this is going to be the next step in the refinery and the petrochemical zone. Right. Thank you.
Now I would request Mr. Amrish Agarwal to come on stage to cover the key O&M challenges for especially for improvement for CGD applications.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Kulkarni has set the context, and Mr. Banerjee, Mr. Richard, Mr. Michael, and Mr. Gupta has, set the stage. I'm also adding it to up. I'm working with Indraprastha Gas Limited since last more than 1.5 decade, and my total experience is around 23 years, out of which I have worked with power plant, fertilizers, chemicals, and FMCG. So it's a long journey. And to start with IGL is majorly working with NCR and majorly 4 states in the northern region. So I will start with some stats. So we are serving the country with around 900 CNG stations. We are fueling approximate 30 lakh domestic kitchens. We are serving to around 12,000 industrial and commercial establishments. And for this, we have laid a massive infrastructure. We have a steel pipeline of around 2,200 kilometer, with the MDP pipeline around 26,000 kilometer. We are fueling President, PMO, Amar Jawan Jyoti, even this Yasho Bhumi also. You are enjoying the delicious cuisine made on our gas. So we are proud of fueling the nation, and this company is basically working with the passion of projects, passion of operation and maintenance. And for this, we have traveled a long journey. Maybe few of you are our customer, and you will come to know and you will be surprised that for the last 25 years, many of the customers are, saying that they have not even witnessed a single shutdown. So we can boast of this, that we have a wonderful team who is working day and night for serving you. We have, whenever we have a planned shutdown, we have a plan B, we have a plan C. So, under pressure, we can't say that you you will be out of gas at any moment of time. So going ahead, uh, this supply needs to be done with safety, reliability, and cost efficiency. Of course, we have reduced our opex a lot. uh, Main is equipment O&M. So how we do it, then how we forecourt manage our CNG stations, our pipeline integrity, and gas loss is also a major factor because it's gas is a money. Going ahead, we have uh, installed SCADA in all our CNG stations. So we have real-time pressure and temperature monitoring, as well as for accurate gas monitoring, for accurate reconciliation. We have done dispensers automation. Then we have done odorization control through SCADA. So all these are basically adding up to our OPEX efficiency. Now, best practices what we are offering is engine-driven compressors are generally considered as taking major maintenance, and it is not cost-effective. So we give preference to the motor-driven compressors, and we make a balance between in-house and OEM maintenance. So based on utilization, we try to keep maximum stations and maximum compressors in-house, but where utilization is more, we keep it in OEM scope. Then we have long-term AMC contracts for say 6 to 10 years. Then we have clubbing of operations of different makes of compressors, and we have developed some spares also. And we are trying to replace our commercial electricity with renewable electricity, which is at lower cost. This is a screen diagram for our SCADA screens, what we are doing at compressors and our stations. Now, when we talk about equipment O&M, we don't want our team to be engaged in planning all the time. So we have GSP, this is General Service Platform, the one of its kind in CGD industry. IGL is IGL can proud of starting many and new things first time in the industry, like use of Type 4 cylinders in the buses. then mobile refueling unit, and after that we are using GSP General Service Platform with the E and Y, and we are in the next phase of GSP. So what my team has to do is just to feed one-time data, and then what next maintenance is due, which compressor is there, what will be the spares required, everything comes out of it. So we have developed a lot of dashboards for this. We come to know the critical data which helps us in decision making. So this all is possible through GSP. We also have a vertical IIB, improvement, innovation, and business intelligence. So our team is doing day and night, improving these dashboards, data churning, and how we can utilize this in the best manner. Then we have forecourt management through this GSP, which station is having more utilization, which station is doing less, why it is doing so. So all parameters are coming on one screen, and the higher management can find out the reasons, the possibilities, how we can improve it at one go. Now, when we talk about operational excellence 4.0, so it was a long journey. We moved from 1.0 to 2.0. Now we are at 3.0 and moving ahead towards 4.0. Exactly now we are monitoring temperature, vibration, pressure, acoustic data, flow and load. But next we are going to use AI clubbed with GSP, SAP, and integration of AI. So in this we can use three different type of models. This data churning will help in identifying the problems. Then the trends will tell us the upcoming breakdown. We can plan in advance and accordingly analyze for future procurements as well. Forecourt management is being done through a app which is Navgati. IGL implemented it first. It's a startup, and we have implemented it in our CNG stations. So what it does, it basically monitors through our installed cameras. So forecourt efficiency is utilized through its. We can come to know which dispenser is selling more, which line is getting less, how we can improve it, which station is nearby, which is the waiting time, and we can propagate it to our customers also. So forecourt management, we can collect the data. On AI based, we can see the pattern of the customers. We can contact fleet owners. We can give them some, uh, incentives. We can invite them on the offload peak hours so that queues on the station may be reduced. Now we comes to the PNG segment. Actually, the pipeline network which is laid underground is very crucial. Any damage to the pipeline can interrupt the supply to the customers. So we continuously keep on cathodic protection, then corrosion surveys are carried out, 24/7 patrolling. Now we are going for CCTV installation instead of manual patrolling of the SV walls. We will be having a intrusion detection so that if anybody going there in that area and doing something, it will come to the mobile and app, and it can be taken care well in time. Then in asset integrity also we are going for next level OPEC 4.0. Then data collection will be done here also, data churning will also done. We will install some acoustic and sensors which will differentiate between the normal vibration, normal disturbance and the problem causing due to the gas leakage. So it will create an alarm or tripping if possible. Then AI powered cathodic protection system. So cathodic protection is a very important parameter in a pipeline. If cathodic protection and then voltage level is not maintained, it can corrode our pipelines. So based on the aging and the atmosphere where the pipeline is laid, we can keep on changing the voltage parameters so that pipeline is safe. Gas loss is a major concern for IGL as well, but we can proud that we have maintained it well within limits, the best in the industry. We are around less than 1%, and we are trying to further mitigate it. This is a dashboard for gas loss. It is also defined in GSP. So we come to know every morning which station is causing some loss and where is the action to be taken. So not to go through all the stations, we focus only on the stations which flagged by GSP. So for this we have done a lot of things. I will not go into the very details because I am at a very crucial junction. I am coming into between you and your lunch. So I will keep it short and crispy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Amrish, for very good discussion and presentation on city gas distribution. I being come from a company which is quite active in city gas distribution, I really appreciate the points what you have covered, especially few of the challenges, be it on data integrity, asset integrity, gas reconciliations. Definitely city gas distribution is going to play a major role when it comes to India as a country reaching the sustainability targets, and we all are playing a good role at that. Excellent. With that, we are coming to end all the sessions. And before we speak anything, I would like you all to give a big round of applause to all the presenters today. They have done wonderful presentations, mainly covering how the combination of digital technologies with lean operational principles of operational excellence are helping or driving the industries in achieving the performance, the targets what industries are setting. I know that it is not an easy target, especially when it comes to operational excellence. So whenever now onwards, whenever most of the industries, I'm sure, are already looking into whenever they are implementing any improvement projects, they are always evaluating whether they have really evaluated the right digital tools to reap the benefit out of that. With that, I think we are end of this session, and thank you all for patience here. Thank you all for this session. Thanks.